All right, so we're gonna go 50 minutes. Start with lash specialty first, and then we'll move into our manicuring. Um, I want to have about 20 minutes after class to send each of you an email, just to let you know in your hour marks. When we look at, what I have about, okay, let me go over to Zoom. All right, if you hadn't already, put your name in the chat for me, please. It's the roll call. As we stated, we're starting with lashes, but I need to look over here. With this chapter included, so about 5 chapters. After this one, we have about 4 chapters for this particular course, and then we'll go into prepping for the theory exam. All right. Okay. So, with that being, what month is this? This is October. The last students, you guys will be done by Thanksgiving. You should be done by Thanksgiving. That's the goal. That you're done with your 300 hour course by Thanksgiving. All right. And I would like you to continue to come on. At least we'll decide. Um, we still need to finalize. I need to call Emma tonight. We still need to finalize your in person, but also staying connected. Hold on one moment, guys. Okay, so with last specialty, by the end of November, and I really, it's not mandatory, but I do want you guys to come in the rest of to tap in the rest of December so we can have state board prep. And so the state board prep is going to be us making sure you are ready for that theory exam. Because how that works, you're going to do your theory exam first. You'll do your theory exam first, and then you'll move over into, once you pass that with at least a 70, and I know you will, you'll move over into your practical. Okay. So November and December, because we only got a little bit here, November and December, it will be all about your state board prep and getting you some hands on. So super, super excited about that. Okay. Our Tennessee state law says you guys should get at least 8 hours of hands on. We're going to break that up into maybe 2 classes, but also we're going to have some state board prep included with the virtual, and we're gonna get make sure your kits are ready. So it's a whole look preparation. So even when you're done here, we have a whole preparation on the other side. So super excited about that. And then now we'll talk about manicuring. Hold on, I got a teacher texting me. Nope, nobody can hear me, and I'm just talking. Okay, Andrea, I want to make sure you're present. All right, can you hear me now, Andrea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just talking on the other side. Okay, so as for Andrea manicuring, um, the same as with them, just giving you a projection, and I'm gonna do an email afterwards. With the manicuring apprenticeship program, 50% of the program is done in house, which is virtual. That's the theory component, and then the other 50% is done hands-on practical, and so in a salon or a spa setting. All right, and if you're working, you're getting credit for the hands-on component. Okay. Um, for as for you guys, you have to do 300 with us. That 300 for you guys are going to hit right at and I'm seeing your stuff now. I want to gauge you Thanksgiving, but I'm definitely thinking like the first week of December. And the reason why I'm saying that because I want December to be your state board prep. It would be my goal if you would go and take the theory exam while we're on our holiday break. So I don't know about you, but you could possibly be licensed. Everybody on here could possibly have passed that theory component before the year's out. That'll be a great holiday gift for you. And then come January, we're working on let's getting you either for Lash getting you to the practical or the for the manicuring, you're calculating your hours and you get more hours. So as long as you're working, you get more hours. You just can't do more than like 45 a week for the state of Tennessee. And you cannot work 7 days a week. You can only work 6 days straight. And then you have to take a break and then jump back on another 6 days. But um, so your work cannot be more than what the state allows you to get. So right now you may get a max of maybe 160 a month. All right. Um, and so you you may be looking at February, the end of January, February as being completely, we can't count that until you pass the theory part, but it should not take you more than 2 months to finish your hours you need for practical. Okay. And so that's if you're working, going in, getting a max. Shouldn't take you longer than 2 months. And so you'll do your practical the end of February, early March, and you'll be ready to go. You'll be fully licensed, and that license you'll be able to transfer any state that takes the same hours that you used in Tennessee. So, and here's the thing, I think you guys are Mississippi as well. We'll have the 300, but we will have to continue calculating them. You won't be able, it's not a may, you won't be able to test in Mississippi until you get the full 600. I have to catch myself because I'm used to, testing in Tennessee. But I'm correct, Andrea, about you guys are testing in Mississippi, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go to Mississippi State Board because have you heard anything about Mississippi? Mississippi had an emergency call last week that I found out about. And it has nothing to do with us or nothing to do with you. There's something going on within the state of Mississippi as far as their state board. So let me pull it up. If you don't mind, I do want to pull it up so I can show you. Um, and in Mississippi, hopefully whatever's going on in Mississippi is resolved by the time you guys get ready to take your exam. So this is updated. Okay, so there's growing concerns about the Mississippi cosmetology industry, and then they're having an issue with their board. And so the governor of Mississippi has to reinstate another board. And it's today the 21st. Yeah. So this is what I heard from a person that was at the hair show yesterday, and I'm actually seeing it. As of today, Mississippi does not have a state board. With no state board in hand, salons cannot be inspected. Mississippi salons, schools, barbershops cannot be inspected. And then those individuals wanting to take the exams cannot take the exams because Mississippi currently does not have a state board. And that was the big thing as of today. Um, So Mississippi is trying to reset and get all of their stuff together. Once they get all of their stuff together, and I am going to see this on YouTube. If I put some in the chat, do you think y'all will be able to? Hey, you just coming on? Put your name in the chat. I'm talking about Mississippi State Board right now. So I got this news yesterday, and I think the process started today. I don't think it's anything for you guys to worry about because by the time December gets here for you to take your manicuring exam, you should probably be in the first group that's going to take it in Mississippi. So pretty much as of today, Mississippi does not have a board, and it has something to do with the government being shut down as well, because all of those officials and all of the legwork come from, have governmental legs. And so I think the government being shut down, plus the governor needs to appoint more board members. And so at this moment, the governor has not appointed those board members, and the government is still in cahoots. We got something else going on. I don't want to say in cahoots, but the government got a lot going on. Let's listen to this. As for my manicuring students, by December, if the board is not up, I'm going to test you I'm going to have the test available in Tennessee, or you'll just be waiting. You'll just be accumulating hours waiting for Mississippi to come open. Once Mississippi comes open, you'll go ahead and take that exam. I had somebody call me today, said their salon was waiting to be inspected, and they got a notice that there are no inspections going on as of today. The board has been shut down, and it will not open back up until the governor submits people to the governor of Mississippi opens the board back up. So right now, people can do what they want to do and offer any services in Mississippi, unfortunately, because there's no board, there's no inspectors, there's no anybody that worked in the office that was processing licensures and inspections. They are not working. Is one of the government arms that are shut down right now. Okay, and so unfortunate. But let's listen to this particular video, and this is for, my lash people are testing in Tennessee, so you're fine, but this could happen to anybody.
Ashina Woods spent 6 years teaching barbering students in Hattiesburg, preparing them to pass state exams and get licensed. Now she's shutting down her school.
I cannot sleep at night knowing that I am taking a student's money and I cannot provide them with accurate information to go to board and obtain their license.
She's one of 63 school owners in Mississippi left without clear guidance after the state merged its barbering and cosmetology boards last year.
Being that I've been owning the college for several years, as a good educator, I like to relay accurate information to my students. So anything that changed, I like to give them that information.
The problem, she says, is state law changed, but the licensing tests did not.
But the test that the applicants are taking is on that old law that's not in place anymore.
Catherine Bell is the executive director of the Unified Board. She says her office can't update tests or finalize new licensing rules without board members.
Unfortunately, to change that test, we've got to have a board in place to craft those questions. And until they get back in place, we're stuck with a test that doesn't reflect the current statutory scheme of the board or the current rules, even in the temporary fashion that they're in.
Woods says the lack of leadership is what finally pushed her to close. A spokesperson for Governor Tate Reeves says he's aware of the regulatory issues caused by the board's vacancy, But the decision to not confirm the previous board was made by Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann and Senator Hob Bryant, the chairman of the Senate Public Health Committee. I'm Justin Glowacki, reporting for the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center.
Okay, so we got a director, but we do not have a board in place. So there's no test at the moment for Mississippi until that board gets into play. All right. So I believe maybe cosmetologists, barbers, manicurists have gotten the short end of the stick when it comes to Mississippi. I reached out to someone, a good friend of mine, Mr. Jarvis, who's newly elected for a barber association, to see if he could come on and give us some clarity. So I've been kind of working on that today. But for us, only thing we got to do is keep going, y'all. We're going to keep calculating hours. And when it gets to your time that you have to go test, we'll make a decision at that point. If Mississippi is up and going, we'll get her done. If Mississippi is not up and going, Tennessee is ready to go whenever you're ready. But I will leave that decision up to you guys. But right now, there's nothing we could do because nobody in Mississippi is able to. Let me see if I could talk to a friend right now to see if she can give me just a little clarity. You just call her. Someone with a loud truck would talking right now. All right. Well, hopefully my Mississippi people will be giving me a call back soon. But I just wanted to relate that to you. That's what we have. Let me make sure I put it in the chat. That article you can go back to. And then also, this is the Mississippi State Board website. Okay. So yeah, I got both of those with you in the chat. And so let's pick those up and check those out. But I am going to be on top of it to keep you guys posted as much as possible, okay? Any questions before we move forward? All right. Both programs are not long programs, but I do want to be able to answer any questions that you may have. Tennessee does not have any changes to the lash, and right now, no changes to the nails. And so, we'll just have both options available when the time comes for manicuring, but lashes is good to go. All right. And so let's look at let's see what chapter we are on. We're going to be on, we're going to talk tonight for about a good little time. We're going to introduce tools, products, and ingredients. Okay, this is where we're about to get into the good stuff. Tools, products, and ingredients, all right? And so a lot of times students ask me, what do I need to order? What do I need to order? Wait till we get to the part where we talk about it. Because sometimes we order stuff we don't use or we don't need. And so it's good to always just kind of wait see what we got going on. We're gonna get into the tools, products that we need. I've already started highlighting some areas that's going to be key areas for you to study. And so here's our first learning objective. Explain why knowledge of eyelash extension tools, products, and ingredients is essential to eyelash extension technicians. Page 85. You gotta have your own stuff. Okay. Hold on one moment. This is the young lady I was calling about Mississippi. Hold on. Good evening. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good, good. I did not prepare you, but I was talking to my students and we're on Zoom. They can hear you. Can you say hello?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight?
If you guys can't hear, just unmic and say hello.
Hello.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. So I have two, we're in Tennessee. First, how are you? Are you doing well?
I am doing great. I'm doing great. How are you?
Awesome. We still need to catch up, but I was like, let me try to reach out to the smartest person I know in Mississippi.
Oh, I'm so humble. I'm so humble.
Yes, the smartest person I know. And I know Mississippi has had some board challenges.
Yeah.
And I have students that come to our school, but they test in Mississippi. And we got some that are getting ready like within the next month or so. But I've noticed, there's some changes and there's no board members.
Correct. Yeah, there are definitely no board members, and everything is operating as normal, except for if anything has to come through the board members, there will be no, just such as the approval of schools or anything of that nature. But licensure testing and all of that is still going on.
Okay, so testing is good.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
That was a big breather because I don't know how Mississippi works, and I was hoping that the students would not be prolonged because of the board issue.
I see. Yes, ma'am. So as far as now, it is taking a lot of people who's going through trying to get their licenses and everything updated.
Mm-hmm.
It is long. It's taking them a little while, maybe before they can see a license in the mail.
Oh wow. Okay.
But however, as long as they have taken their test and their test and everything is on file, they'll be okay. But it's just the process of really just getting that hard copy in your hand.
Okay.
And the license is there. But testing, yes, all of that, it is still going on, but it may be a little process because, the board is not there.
Yeah.
So,
okay. We're gonna have to do a live or something in the school group because everybody, even though this affects Mississippi, a lot of people are connected to Mississippi in different ways. Like we have students who are transferring and things like that. So we just wanted to stay up in the loop. But I thank you for returning the call.
Yes, ma'am. Anytime. And if there's anything else I can do or what have you, please call me. If I don't have the answers right then and there, best to believe me, I can definitely find it for you. I can get it.
Okay, I thank you. I'm gonna need that because I have 2 nail students and I want to ensure them that they can get to the board and eliminate some of the fuss. They can get what they need and get on down.
Absolutely. I do have a recommendation, especially for those who are going out to test in Mississippi. I highly recommend Biloxi site.
Is that closed or is it open?
No. The Biloxi site.
Yeah, because something was on the website that said some site was closed.
So has that been within the month or so? The last month or so? I have to go back and look at the notes.
I'm on here now. It says no. E.L. Bolton testing. Okay, yeah. Attention testing candidates. The E.L. Bolton in Biloxi building is closed for renovation.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow. So that was the best place to take it, huh?
Absolutely. I've been sending everyone there from most of the schools here in Mississippi, and it's just a pass first time.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that's the best place to test. But wow, okay. Jackson, just prepare them well.
Okay. We'll get them prepared, and we hope that the Lux is back up by the time they have to go.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much. We're gonna chat soon. I appreciate you.
Yes, anytime. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
All righty. Have a blessed night, you all.
You too. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, I will be right with you. That was so cool to get a response back from a Mississippi educator giving us some updates. So I think we're able to move forward. So give me one moment. I'll be right with you. All right. So glad that we got that out the way. All right. So let's jump back into tools, products, and ingredients. You guys know you probably have already started collecting things for a kid, for your salon, your suite, wherever you're thinking about working, you probably have already started to look at some products and things of that nature. But what I want to really, take out of this chapter is going to be adhesives. Okay, that's going to be a key component. You can't do anything without the adhesives. I want my students to become really experts in adhesives, okay? Because that adhesive is going to determine how well your performance, determine the performance of your lashes, okay? The retention is how long they last, all right? And so the performance of them and the retention, all of that is based on your adhesive. So your goal this chapter is to learn about the ingredients of the adhesive so you can choose the right adhesive for the right client. So no more of that is just one adhesive. No, when I say adhesive, I mean glue. No more one adhesive that goes with everybody. All right. For those individuals that are very sensitive, there are adhesives for sensitive people. If you have watery eyes, there are adhesives for that. And here's the thing, that adhesive goes with whatever's going on with that client. The adhesive for the sensitive client or the watery eye client, it does not guarantee longevity of the lashes. So you have to tell clients when they're saying it came off so quick, or I gotta have them refilled so soon. A lot of times when they're talking to you about what they had before, you really have to hone in that maybe it was the wrong type of adhesive. And for clients that really want their lashes to last, they're going to have to be able to withstand the advanced chemicals in that adhesive. So we got about 2 or 3 different types of main ingredients that cause the adhesives to be very long wear or short-term wear. All right. So when you're purchasing things, that's why I like to go to trade shows and things like that, because I get to talk to them about the adhesives and things of that nature. So it's going to take you really wanting to learn and get deeper into it. Some people say, hey, I just want to do it. But to really say, this is my craft and really hone in on it, you got to learn what's in everything that you use. Okay. And your biggest thing is going to be not only quality of lashes, but the quality of the adhesives as well, because that's what's going to adhere the lash to the client. All right. And it's going to give us the longevity. All right. So we'll get to talk about that. It says eyelash technicians should study and have a thorough understanding of eyelash extension tools, products, and ingredients. All 3 are different. All right. Eyelash extension adhesives, I'm right here in the blue. Adhesives are glue. Okay. It's what makes it attached. But as we move into our professional vocabulary, we will not say glue. We will say adhesive. Okay. Same thing works for my nail students. We do not say glue. We will say adhesive. So you would attach the artificial nail to the nail plate with adhesive. Okay. That's your professional vocabulary that we see blooming. You're affected by both humidity and temperature in ways that directly impact lash retention. So let me break down this blue sentence for you. Eyelash extensions, adhesives, okay? We're not talking about bonding glue, weave glue. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the glue for clusters, okay? We're talking about eyelash extension adhesive, okay? Affected by both humidity, that's the moisture in the air. All right. That's why as we're applying, we want the fan, we want to cool down. Cooling dries, okay? This is also why they tell you do not wash your face for the first 24 to 48 hours. Well, I'm talking around the lashes. Keep moisture out, okay? Thorough understanding of eyelash extension Tools, products, and ingredients. We're looking at the blue. We're back down to humidity. That's moisture in the air. Okay, this is why we have the fan. And temperature in ways that directly impact lash retention. When you got your lash retention client, and that's the first client of the day, all right, and you got to come in and you got to get the suite set up and all that. If it's hot in there, though, you're going to have more trouble of getting those adhesives to really stick the way they're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to get in at a good time, set the room up, make sure the temperature is very mild, cool, whatever you needed to do, get your fan ready, all that good stuff going. Then when the client comes in, the temperature doesn't have an effect on the eyes. So what happens when the temperature has an effect, you elongate the time, which means it takes you more time to do what you're supposed to be doing. What if this was only 50 minutes to an hour service? Now it's turned into 1.5 hours, and it's gone into messing up your schedule for the rest of the day. So that's always a plus, is get there 30 minutes earlier, at least minimum 30 minutes before your time. Set your room up. It's called atmosphere set. Okay? Atmosphere set. The atmosphere set is you set the tone for everybody who's coming in. So you got to get the room ready. If the room is cold, everybody come in, it's going to say, oh, it's cold. They're going to be complaining about it being cold. If the room is hot, they're going to be complaining about it being hot. Come in, you know your clients, chill it out. And if you know that the room is cool, it's going to take a moment, come in a little earlier, or have those little throws available that you can throw over your client's laps. And what that does, it really helps bring their body temperature down. Okay, so the throw is not just look pretty, it helps bring the body temperature down. And you can put the throw over the entire client, and it's going to bring that temperature down some, and the client is not going to be so cold. Or you can have a fan present, no cover, and it will cool that area so the client does not feel overheated. Okay, it says that this directly impacts the retention. Retention going forward, we need to know this word. This is your paid, this is your money word. Retention. Nail students use the word retention as well. This is how long the nails last or how long the lashes last. Retention. Oh, you can look at your nails. I've had good retention, which means they stayed on. You say, oh, I get them done every 2 weeks. And then every 2 weeks you look up, you still got all 10 of your nails. You had good retention. Nothing popped off. And then if you look on the other side, as far as lashes, you have good retention. You haven't shedded as much. All right. You still have a full set almost at the end of 2.5, 3 weeks. So now, instead of you getting a whole new, you're just really doing like a feel, a basic feel. So we want to understand the word retention, start using it, and you're talking to your clients as well about retention, especially when it comes to the type of lash style that they're choosing. It says in the green, some tools and implements used in eyelash and eyebrow services can be disinfected and reused, whereas others cannot. So here we go. I'm going into the chat, ladies. I'm going into the chat. One thing that we all have to learn is what is single use and what's multi-use. All right. So as we learn about the products and supplies and things of that nature, what is single use and what is multi-use? Single use, let me define this for you. You're going to see this all the way up to state board, even if you test in Mississippi. Single use are your disposables. Things you use one time that you can't use on anybody else. Cotton products, okay? They are disposables. Can somebody go into the chat? Give me an example of a single-use item. Something that you only use one time. Give me an example. Let's go into the chat. Yes. A file, a spoolie. Yes. All right. Single use items. All right. This is why you get bulk items and you get them really cheap sometimes because they're just used one time. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Tape, gel pads. I mean, single use. Single use. This is why you keep good supply because you're just going to use it at one time and throw them away. They cannot be used on anybody else. If you're looking at lash services and the items that are multi-use, examples would be your tweezers, eyelash curlers, okay? Anything that's metal is going to be a multi-use item. That means I'm going to wash it in soap and water. I'm going to put it in the disinfectant, let it sit for a set amount of time. I'm going to put it in the dry sterilizer. Once that is done, then I'm going to store it away in a clean container until it's ready to use again. All right. My tweezers. Okay. You have to know the difference between single use and multi-use. It says some tools and implements used in eyelash and eyebrow services can be disinfected and reused, whereas others cannot. With aesthetics, we can't use makeup brushes, real makeup brushes. We have to use disposable makeup brushes. So we have to use sponges and things like that. They got to go. And it said there are many different extension types and options to choose among to meet client needs and budgets. And so, yes, when it comes to products and things of that nature, some people first ride is Dollar Tree. The second, some people go straight to Amazon. Some people go straight to Universal Products. All right. Some people go straight to trade shows. For me, I restock at trade shows. I feel like I can get a better deal. And when you're in person and start negotiating, you said, look, give me the whole rack. You know, they tend to negotiate a really good price for you. I also like trying to get stuff that I cannot find on Amazon, you know? And so I even seen a student told me that they got nail stuff from Temu. I said, I can't knock it, but if that's what you like, that's what you like. I haven't bought anything off of Temu. It's tempting, but Temu and Sheen just kind of irks me because you got to go through so many pages to get to an order. And I lose interest. It's just too much. You got to spin the wheel and do all this. It just becomes too much. So I don't bother with it. It says in yellow, there are many different extension types and options to choose among to meet client needs and budgets. So this is what we have to do. There are synthetic lash extensions and there are meat. I mean, every season they come out with a new name. And you would think the more elaborate that name is, the older, more luxury the lash is. Okay. But of course, there's some with better qualities. Your job is to research those better qualities. Okay. And like I've told you before, a lot of people tend to build their own brands and they go on Alibaba or AliExpress. That is totally fine. But chime in to something called where is the show? I just really want y'all to know. This is one. You go to this website. Premier Show Group. Just Google it. Premier Show Group, right? They have about 3 shows a year, but the one in Orlando has like good lash and nail and spa prices. Okay. And you probably end up getting some stuff because Florida's so close to the closest to Brazil, Colombia. You'll probably end up getting some good stuff from those areas that you wouldn't see on the other side of the country. I'm also, going to say this show here. No, no. Okay, this is for my lash and my nail students. Screenshot this page. Well, let me copy this and put it in the chat. I'm just giving y'all all the tea, all the jewels tonight. All right, so I just put that in the chat. That's a website. But Cosmo Prof North America, Las Vegas, they do have one in Miami, but this is my favorite, one of my favorites. If you're on the product end, you're trying to build you want to sell the product yourself, or you want to have, you want the best. And mainly, this is Alibaba on steroids. So they come here to the United States a couple of times a year, and they set up at these shows. Now, a lot of times, well, all the time, you cannot purchase anything from these shows. This is where you go to make deals. So instead of 2, 3 in the morning, you're trying to get on WhatsApp and negotiate. You just come here. All right. You cannot purchase anything. If anything, they're giving you something, or they have the display set up and they're giving it away. Okay. Maybe somebody will try to sneak and sell you something later, but you don't this is not the show for you to purchase. This is the show for you to say, I want to come and bargain. I want to come and get the best deal. Especially if, to say we got Deanna Shields. Deanna may say she wants to come out with her own lash line, her own lash adhesives, all of this, right? So she would be the best person. This would be the best show for her, because she can go and see all of the adhesives, all of the lashes. She can pick all of it out herself. She could drop them the logo right then. She can even make her first installment payment, and they are shipped. They are sending that order off. By the time the Shields gets home, she'll have a copy, or it'll tell her when delivery is. That's how they work. Okay. And so, how this also works, don't just look at what tools and products you like, even ingredients. All of this is here. But look at the countries where you would like to have the products and ingredients from. Okay. So, because here it is based on countries. They have an aisle for Italian products, an aisle for Chinese products, a section for US based products. And when I'm saying this is where stuff is made in. If you are unclear about packaging, they have a whole conference area that you can look at the different packaging. Okay. And if you are all about creams and body oils and shampoos, all of that, bam. You're all about color, bam. You're all about tinting, brow tinting. You want to have your own brow tint, there's a whole section for that. All right. Also, if you're just saying, hey, I just want US based products, there's a whole section for US based products. But for me, I like Italian products, and I also like German made spa products. Okay. Spa equipment. So I like spa equipment, and I like Italian made products and ingredients. All right. There are some Asian based products I like as well when it comes to face masks and things of that nature. But this will be amazing for any of you students to go to, because I consider if you're going to have a beauty business, everybody needs to go here, and you can see what's about to come out, and you can grab it and make that part of whatever you're doing before anybody else knows. So I just wanted to share that with you. And most people who, you ask about products, whatever they may tell you, go Alibaba. This is, hey, if you're not flying over there yourself, you really don't know what you're getting. And so that's why I say go here. And they usually have New York, Las Vegas, and Miami. And hit one of these, do your research, and then start building connections and grow from there. You want your own polish, your own gels, your own lights. All of that stuff is here. All of it. I mean, all of it. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you thought that this was helpful, just put a 1 in the chat. Just so I want to make sure everybody's still alive. Put a 1 in the chat if you thought that that was pretty helpful. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So the site is in your and anybody can go, y'all. Anybody can go. You pay the fee, and you'll go. Remember, everybody is about making business deals. So there's millions of dollars on the table, billions of dollars probably on the table. I'm going to tell you to dress professionally and comfortably, which means you may not wear heels, but dress professionally, because that really says a lot about you. And when they see how you're dressed, a lot of times they perceive that you're ready to do business. Okay. And so that's just a tip as well. So yeah, I got a couple of ones. And so you said that is some good information. Good, 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 good. Okay, let's pick back up and go over a few more things. So in the yellow, it says there are many different extension types. Yes, so that means when you get ready to go into business, you're not just going to buy this one particular set. Okay, you're going to buy more than one. You're going to make sure that when you're going into business, no two people are the same. They may have a different set of eyes, eyes that are set wider. The brows may be set wider or closer. And so there's different types of lashes. So in your investment, you're going to invest in different types, and you're going to learn to specialize in customizing lash styles for each client. So I want you to say lash style, because there are many styles that they can get. It's just like hairstyles or haircuts. I don't want you to just put yourself in one category where you just, hey, I just do lashes. No, you're a lash stylist, okay? You customize your lash designs for each client. All right. So it's just using service product correctly. So making sure that we're using adhesives, the primers, everything correctly and safely. Okay. A lot of individuals do not like wearing gloves and things of that nature. So you got to make sure you protect yourself before you service the client. So that is going to include sometimes you wearing gloves. Okay. Safely comes from recognizing their ingredients and the effect that they have on the lashes and skin around them. We have already learned about the skin disorders and sensitivities, allergies, things of that nature, right? So think about that and have that in mind when you're choosing your adhesives or even using your adhesives. And this can happen to anybody. And so we want to always make sure that is our precaution, is that we train our eye, learn about these ingredients, and then continue to practice. All right. So always good, always amazing. Page 80. Where are we? Let's go to adhesives. All right. This objective, you're going to describe eyelash adhesive ingredients and how to properly use and store them. All right. Before I go, I want to do an assignment. I want to place in the group, in the chat, an assignment for my lash students. All right. Here's your homework for my lash students. Lash students, you got a top 10. You're going to list 10 IG pages of lash application tools or products, which means you're going to go on Instagram. Okay. All right. Which means you're going to go on Instagram. You're going to find 10 pages. And these has to be 10 of your favorite pages for lash applications. There's somebody doing lash demos, somebody showing tools, or maybe a company that's selling a lash tool, or somebody who's selling a lash product or displaying a lash product. So you're going to find 10 pages, all right? 10 pages. And really, you're just going to put the at. You're going to have that ready when we come back on Thursday. And so when you come back on Thursday, I want you to have your 10 IG pages of lash applications, tools, or products. For my nail students, you have a homework and a homework bonus assignment. When I say homework, this particular homework is going to be a bonus assignment. All right, so I want to make sure you guys are on Thursday. All right, on Thursday. And for my nail students that are on, you have to do a top 10, but for nail applications, nail tools, or nail products, okay? Top 10. You got to be on the Zoom, okay? You got to have your 10, and we're going to go to those pages. We're going to go to those pages, and we want to create a directory. So when we get through, I'm going to bring my top 10 too. So when we get through, we should have 50 pages, 50 IG channels that we could reference for lash and nails, whether it's products, applications, or tools. That's how you build your rapport. You can trade information. Hey, I like when this person does this, and someone else may say, hey, but check this page out, just amazing. If you think you're in there, add your own page to it, okay? Now, I chose IG because you can go into just really easy. You can go and put hashtags like nail supplies, nail tools, or nail products, or lash adhesives, or lash demos, okay? And you can hashtag any of that, y'all, and find. And just start going through. You may have to go through a little tunnel, but go through and then find the 10 that's best that you like and bring them over on Thursday. Have them ready on Thursday, okay? And that's when, if you have them ready on Thursday, I'm gonna make sure that you get your bonus. So that's the homework. I just want to make sure we do not go past that. So lash students and nail students have that for homework. Go here. Okay. Let's look at adhesives. We're going to do about 5 minutes, and then we're going to move over to nails. Adhesives. It says eyelash adhesive is used to make artificial eyelashes, that's not real, stick to the natural lash, okay? Artificial eyelashes need to stick to the natural lash, and the only way we can do that is through adhesives, okay? Or the natural lash. Here's the thing, depending on which type of artificial lashes are being applied, that's how you're going to choose your adhesives. So I want everybody to get out of this one type of adhesive and one type of lash. There's more, okay? It's good for us to have an understanding how adhesives works. It's going to ensure that we have lash retention and also client safety. All right. So that is the big thing why we even got a lash license altogether, because people were causing damage to people's eyes and areas around the eyes, poking them with the tweezers, also using adhesives that were too strong. Um, Clients almost going blind, okay, because of safety measures not in place, and people were just doing what they wanted to do, and so we cannot do that any longer. Okay, not only lash retention, so the adhesive again is telling you it's going to be the main reason why your lashes last as long as they last. Eyelash adhesives. Here's where I took a lot of notes. All right. And we have a lot of different types of ingredients. All right. A lot of different types of ingredients. And let me tell you this now. I would like you to use the YouTube pronunciation. So you would take one of your words and put it in YouTube pronunciation. Okay. And I want you to really be able to pronunciate each word. That's going to help build your confidence, and it's going to build you up in your revenue as well, because you're going to be different from everyone else. All right. We're going to go over this page, but this is a big page. I want you to look at this here, carbon black. Carbon black. Most of us are familiar with adhesives that are either clear or black. Okay. There are no natural way to do lashes, and it's black. And lashes, the adhesive have chemicals in them. So it's no natural way to do lashes unless they got something like a stick-on lash that's temporary. So I've heard that conversation. People want more organic ways for lashing, but right now there's chemical components in the adhesives that do not allow the lashes to be organic. All right. Carbon black is a dark black powder used as a pigment. Okay. But y'all, the FDA has found that this ingredient should not be used in the eye area. However, it's used on mascaras and eyeliners. It's been connected to cancer, increased incidence of cancer, and negative effects on body organs. There are clear eyelash adhesives that do not contain carbon black as an alternative for clients with sensitivities or those who do not wish to be exposed to it. Whew. This is why you have to know the ingredients. You could go off and be buying a product and it's black. You need to know what type of black in there. If on that ingredient list it has carbon black, you should not be using it. You could probably be harming the client more than helping the client. Again, you could be harming the client and not helping the client. All right. Carbon black has been linked to increased incidence of cancer and negative effects on body organs. Right now, there are two organs that are relative to the eyelashes. The eyeball is an organ, and the skin is the largest organ of the body. Those are the first two organs that could have a negative impact. Okay, and they would love for you, if you have sensitivities, to move to clear adhesives, okay? Because it's an alternative for clients with sensitivities. Yeah, it may not last as long as the black, okay? But you can get a pretty good wear out of it. But guess what? I'm not causing any issues with my client's organs. And I'm also not causing any issues with probabilities of my client getting cancer. I'm just not. Okay? I'm not. And so this page 88 and 89 is going to be your reading homework. Okay? This is where we'll pick back up on Thursday. And also we'll have the homework assignments ready on Thursday as well. So I'm excited that we finally have gotten to some nitty gritty, and we're talking about eyelash adhesives, and then we're talking about ingredients, and then we're going to break down temporary eyelash adhesives and so on and so on. And I'm going to have some pictures of different adhesives and maybe something that you've used before, but I'm excited about it. This is going to be the meat and potatoes of your career, all right, as a lash artist. Just like they said, barbers don't go anywhere without their clippers. Well, lash stylists do not go anywhere without their adhesives, because you can get lashes from anywhere. All right. But at the end of the day, no one is going to be able to do that unless they have the adhesive. They're not going to be able to service the client unless they have the adhesive that connects the artificial lash to the natural lash. Okay. So my lash students, you guys are free to go. I'm gonna take maybe 4 minutes and get ready to pull up my manicuring course. But y'all are free to go, and you got your homework. You can stay on if you want, or you can call it a night. Y'all have a great one. For my lash students, now I'm in preparation for my manicuring students. You guys give me 4 minutes to close this page, and I will be back with the manicuring course. I'm going on mute. All right, today we're going to talk about nail structure, diseases, and disorders. We're going to pick back up. I am going to cater the course to the most important chapters first, and then we'll hit some of the ones that we won't see on state board. We'll hit those on the latter part. But this is a big component of it. And so nail structures, diseases, and disorders. Let's begin to look at our terms, okay? We need to look at our terms. One thing I would say always as a manicurist, learn what a natural nail, healthy nail should look like, okay? If we do that, we're already starting in a great place. We need to learn what that looks like. Always, when it comes to your, future exams and things of that nature, always look at your objectives and then be able to answer your check-ins as you're reading and going over everything. Okay. It says nail technicians must be able, okay, to tell between healthy and unhealthy conditions on a nail. So you got to know what a healthy nail looks like in order to tell somebody that it's not healthy. Okay. First, you must be able to identify conditions that should not be treated in the salon. And so I've been going over this with each course. There are certain things you can do, and then there's certain things you cannot do. There's something called a scope of practice. Let's see. So we got to start somewhere. And first, we got to know about those contraindications. And so I'm always talking about having your client consultation, knowing what looks right and what's not. But here's the biggest thing is your scope of practice. And I get on my estheticians all the time about this. And scope of practice is this, SCOPE of practice. Always know your position when you are handling clients, your scope of practice, which means what you can do and what you cannot do. Based on what state you're in, what you can do and what you cannot do. All right. So when we discuss scope of practice, we initially discussed no, we cannot use any blades. Okay. And yes, we can use files. Okay, so knowing what you can do and what you cannot do. But as we go a little deeper, when conditions, diseases, and disorders, conditions, people that come in with conditions of the skin, conditions of the feet or the hands, the nails, you can service conditions because those conditions are probably just simply like dry skin. All right, you can service conditions. When it gets to disorders, yes, you want them to, hey, go get that checked out. You can service clients with disorders, okay, but they need to refer to a physician first. When it comes to diseases, you cannot service clients with nail diseases or skin diseases, okay? You cannot. That's beyond your scope of practice. And so those diseases will have to move on up. You'll have to send them over to a physician, okay, or advise. We cannot diagnose. We cannot prescribe anything. And so you would definitely have to make sure they head over to a physician. You can suggest certain things that may be going on, but remember, you're not a doctor. We must remain within our scope of practice. And so we have to know what a healthy nail looks like. And when we don't see that healthy nail, that should be a trigger of something, either condition, disease, or disorder. Can I do it or I cannot do it? Okay. We continue to have conversation with the clients as well as they talk to us and we begin to understand what we can do and what we cannot do. So here's some reasons why you need to understand structures, disorders, and disease. Understanding the structure and growth of the nail, the natural nail, allows you to expertly groom. You are the guru, which means once you start to exchange currency, money, okay, you are considered responsible for the service that you're going to do. And so that also can land you in a court of law. Okay. So please receive money knowing that you're doing exactly what you know how to do and what you're supposed to do. Do not take any money and say you can do something and you absolutely cannot. You do not give them what you're supposed to be giving them. Okay. So understanding the structure and growth of natural nails allows you to expertly groom. You are the expert. You strengthen and beautify the nails because you understand it. Okay. You do a great job because there's a great amount of knowledge. You may also offer clients guidance on maintaining healthy nails, and that's the education and proper home nail care. So we're not just servicing clients, there's an initial education component. And in order for them to return and for you to continue doing a great work, they got to take care of their hands and nails while they're at home. And so you will do some education. You're not telling them how to do their nails where they never come back to a professional. All right. And so if you do a great job, they're always going to want you to do a great job. I'm not shortchanging the client on anything because I am the professional. Okay. I am the one that can put them in that experience, that can give them something that no one else is giving them. And even if they do go somewhere else, they'll never forget how I treated them. They'll never forget the service that I provided. And so I never tell people to worry about where the clients are going to come from. Just treat them right and then, you know, be on top of your game when it comes to what you specialize in. All right. And so generally, I want you to understand what a healthy nail looks like. That's what you're always going to understand. Something that's brown, has lines in it, has dark spots, that ain't a healthy nail. A healthy nail should be translucent when you press it, soft pink, okay? And when you press it, turns white. It has moist cuticles, not dry and hangnails everywhere. Greatly filed. You don't have brittle nails where the nails are just breaking off. All right. And remember, even in this, we're learning about how nails look. Clients are what they eat. And so even though you're a nail specialist, a nail technician, manicurist, you also should probably get a certification in nutrition, as a nutritionist or something in wellness or the healthiness of the client. Because at the end of the day, what a client puts in their body and it's going to show on the outside. And so they have to help you help them at all times. Okay. Let me jump back up here and I'm going to put this in pink. I thought this was a great measure. You guys can go back and look at it. The natural nail is an appendage of the skin and is part of the integumentary system, which means we learned that hair, skin, and nails are on the same system. Whatever comes into the body, the nutrients go to the major organs first. We get from the inside, we get very minimum that go to our hair, skin, and nails. And so that's why so much beautification is required on the outside. We got to treat what we got good because we're barely getting anything on the inside. All right. And so we got to have extra vitamins. We got to do exercises. We got to, go and get massages and things of that nature because it helps build up the hair, skin, and nails. So all of those have separate routines. And remember, you are what you eat. And all the other systems, the nerves are saying, hey, the nervous brain, hey, we need what we need in order for us to function and tell y'all what to do. The heart says, hey, we need what we need because we pump. That's why we got life. So all of the major organs are getting what they need from the food that we eat. And so whatever's left over comes to the integumentary system, which isn't much. So this is why we have to have enriched products, vitamin rich products for our hands, for our face, for our skin on the body. We have to make sure this is good. This is why clients should get manicures and things of that nature. I would switch from water to milk. Okay, because milk has a lot of benefits for the skin. It really preserves the skin, makes the skin soft as well. And there's a lot of powdered milks. One of my favorite one is goat milk, and I love to just soak them in a bath. And I got that from an interview with, I saw J-Lo interview, and she said she gets $100 bath, milk baths. She do $100 milk baths when she goes to the spas, and she does it at home. So I'm like, let me research, and it really does feel good. And ghost milk is one of my favorite milks to use for a milk bath. And so replace your water with milk, and we would call it a spa manicure. It increases 60% of your sales, but also it gives them experience that they ain't getting anywhere. So they're not soaking in water, they're soaking in milk. And then the milk has so many softening benefits to the hands. So can you imagine what clients have these rough, dry hands, whether it's male and female, and you're giving them a manicure in a milk bath? Amazing. Same thing for the feet as well. And throw some rose petals and things like that in there. You are definitely benefiting the skin. You're giving them experience that they can't get anywhere else, but you are benefiting the skin. You're putting nutrients back into the skin that the skin does not get from just simply by eating. Okay. Let's come down, and I'm gonna highlight in pink here. We're still on why you should be learning. It's important to know the difference between the nail cuticle and the eponychium before you perform nail services. So, we need to learn the structures of the nail. So, yes, there's the cuticle, but the cuticle can be confused with the eponychium. I want everybody to be able to learn those terms. So far, we have natural nail, nail cuticle, and eponychium. Okay. The eponychium can look like the cuticle, even though the cuticle is just a little small piece around the nail, but the eponychium is additional extended skin around the nail and the free edge. Okay. Next, I'm going to put in green, the last one. Understanding the structure of growth cycles of the natural nail will prepare you for more advanced nail services. So now we're talking numbers. We're talking what's the average growth of a nail per month. We're also talking, let's see. Okay. And so understanding the nail structure. So in understanding the cycles, like I said, we're talking numbers. And when talking numbers, you need to know, everybody needs to know what's the average length of nail growth a month. Okay, just helping is the average length of nail growth a month. That's going to help you determine how often your clients should be coming to you. So we're going to make sure we learn that. And then also we're going to look at behaviors, lifestyle behaviors that may offset that growth. And so just like we pay attention to hair growing, you guys have cycles about that where nails grow or don't grow again. Now, as we get ready to talk about nail diseases and disorders, there are certain diseases of the nail that they attack the natural nail, the nail plate. And if you do not see regrowth after 6 months, that nail plate is not growing back again. Okay. So it has a lifespan between 30 days, 1 to 6 months. Okay, so if you don't see that back in about 6 months, that is a deformity. It is not growing back. The way that nail is, especially if your hand, for example, gets jammed in a door and it's damaged and all of a sudden it fell off and then it started to grow back, but it's growing back at a different shape. Maybe, we see that with toenails all the time. It's grown back into a deformity. The matrix has sent another message that said something has been jammed to say, hey, this is how we're going to grow. If we're going to grow, this is how we're going to do it from this point on. Okay. And so many people can't help that. We can't do anything about it because it's something within the matrix. It's within the stamina of how hair, skin, and nails grow. So unless you're a scientist and a doctor that can get in there and disconnect stuff, it's no. We just have to learn how to deal with it, okay? And so we start to service that client, how we can help that client from that point forward, whether we're going to do some filing, some cutting, or whatever we're going to do at that point. But when it gets to the numbers, you got to know your numbers. The reproductive system, the endocrine system, the hormone system, all have a major effect on how the growth of the nail goes. Okay. And I tell everybody, since the hair, skin, and nails are on the same system, whatever's going on with the nails, you want to find out what's going on with the nails, look at the hair, look at the scalp. You want to find out what's going on with the nails, look at the skin. You see dryness, you see brittleness, all of that also shows sign in the skin. The nails become very limber, being easily to break, or drying around the cuticles, skin breaking, things of that nature. All are telltale signs that something's going on the integumentary system. Okay, let's look here. Define the natural nail unit. And so the natural nail unit here is where we learn parts of the nail. Okay, I'm probably gonna go and Google, or we should have pictures and things like that. But here are the components of the natural nail unit. Once again, we saw the term natural nail, but here is the natural nail unit. Also, we have the natural nail itself called onyx. And then we're going to talk about keratin. And here, I'm going to put this in yellow because this is a memory. A normal healthy nail, how it looks. Put all this in yellow as well. Okay. It says the natural nail unit, okay, is made up of several major parts. All right. So what we're going to end up doing is probably drawing this nail and probably creating a project or something for that. Maybe a 3D project. We may do that for next week since we already have a homework assignment for this week. The natural nail unit includes the following: a nail bed, which is found under the nail plate, a matrix, a nail plate, a cuticle, a eponychium, hyponychium, specialized ligaments, and nail folds. Y'all, all of this you can find on one finger. Okay, wherever you see a nail, you're going to see these other components as well. All right. So you have to determine or be able to distinguish the different parts of the nail. Because when you talk to your clients, you're going to say, let me look at this cuticle. Also, they mentioned knowing the difference between cuticle and eponychium. This is how I know the difference between eponychium and hyponychium. Eponychium is on the sides of the nail. Hyponychium is under the free edge. The skin under the free edge, the skin under the nail, that's the hyponychium. Eponychium is the skin on the sides. Okay? The specialized ligaments and matrix nail bed are found under the nail plate. Okay. The free edge itself is the part of the nail that grows out, that extends out. So, we always say, oh, you want some tips? The natural tip is called the free edge. Okay. It says all of the fingers, the parts of the finger from tip to the first knuckle are referred to as the nail unit. And so if you look at your hand and look at your first knuckle, that's the area where you have the nail growth from. The nail is actually spongy and soft in this first knuckle area, and then it grows outward. Once it hits the nail plate area, it becomes firm. But you have a spongy, soft nail from cuticle to the first knuckle, which should explain when your hand get jammed and you hurt your hands and things like that, your nails are affected because that soft spongy nail that's supposed to come out next, that's being created, regenerated, and come out next, it was damaged. So as it grows out, it's going out as a deformity. Okay, so we want to make sure that we do not damage our fingers, our nails, our hands, or anything that nature, because they are precious cargo. All right, they are precious cargo. And if you're damaging anything from cuticle to first knuckle, that's a spongy nail. You're damaging your future nail that's about to grow out. Okay, so be careful with your hands, these car doors, these building doors, and things of that nature, because you can really mess up something. It says the natural nail itself is technically referred to as the onyx, O-N-Y-X. All right. So your natural nail is referred to as the onyx, and it's composed of keratin. Let's start right there. Our bodies are composed of about, hair, skin, and nail. I'm going to talk about hair for a minute. You have about 90% keratin. 90% keratin. All right. 90% keratin. Let me say it one more time. 90% keratin. Keratin gives us our firmness, and it helps create what we see as hair, skin, and nails. Okay. When something is off, when something is broken, you put back in it what it's made up of. All right. But the keratin on the nails is much more durable, much more stronger than keratin of the hair. Okay. And keratin of the skin is much stronger on the nails. All right. Keratinization is a hardening process. And so when you tap your nails on a table, you're literally hearing that hard keratin. Okay. And so that's when we take our hair and just hit it on the table, it doesn't make a sound like that. So we have a very sensitized keratin on one end with the hair, but we have a very hard, loud keratin on the other end with our nails. Okay. It is a protein. All right. It is a protein. So but also we got to make sure that this protein has moisture as well. So it's going to go hand in hand. Gels, creams, moisture, all of those going to be great components, paraffin, to help give this area moisture because it's naturally a hardening process. So when we are in seasonal changes such as winter and things like that, where it starts to get cold and our skin gets drier, you would need to put more moisture barriers on the skin, the hair, and the nails. And when I say moisture barriers, here's what I like to use. I don't use Vaseline, and Vaseline has no benefits to the skin at all, y'all. It smothers the skin. Let me just put that out there. I know you may not agree with me, but it smothers the skin. Use A&D ointment. A&D ointment has a better chance of breaking down. It has benefit to the skin, okay? And it doesn't smother the skin. It breaks down and your skin receives it. It treats the skin. And so I like to use, if people like to use Vaseline, substitute it with Andy ointment. Okay, it's very healing to the skin. Also, if I use a lotion, I'm gonna use an oil as well. So I'm gonna bury it. I may add the oil to my lotion, or I may add the lotion and follow with an oil. Okay, but either way, hold on one moment. Okay. But either way, we're going to make sure everything is a-okay. All right. We're going to make sure everything is a-okay. So when you have keratin building hair, skin, and nails, and you're learning to take care of it, you need to make sure those moisture balances are in place in other seasons other than spring and summer. Spring and summer is going to have enough moisture, but fall and winter, it's going to dry out. So you got to make sure you educate your clients on having moisture, hydrated skin, not dehydrated, moisture hydrated skin. All right. Hold on one moment. All right, all right, all right. So I wanted to make sure, hey, keep those nails and the skin around the nails moisturized, especially in this time of the year. But also, let's look here. A normal, healthy nail is firm and flexible, guys. Firm and flexible, shiny and slightly pink in color. That's going to be your definition forever. When someone says, "What you think about my nails?" You're gonna look for, is it normal? Which means I don't see no disorders, I don't see no diseases, I don't see nothing. Is it a healthy nail? You want it firm, you want it flexible, which means you want it to bounce back. You don't want it to break when you bend it. It needs to have some natural shine to it. And when you press it, it needs to be translucent white. And then when it sets, soft pink. Okay. That's what a natural nail looks like. And I don't care anything where men was talking about, hey, I don't want to do that. Look, don't nobody want nobody with no crusty nails. Okay. And so your job is to make sure, whether it's men or women, whether it's the whole family, that the grooming needs are taken care of, and they're amazing on male or female. I will tell you, budget wise, not budget wise, when it comes to grooming, the statistics are out that men spend just as much money on grooming as women do. And it's not so much that women just get their nails done now. It is pretty much the whole family receives services. So even though we may have a target market, most of us probably want to service women, or I just want to service men. Even though you have a target market, that target market should be expanded to the children and also expanded to the spouse. All right. So think about that. They're spending just the same amount of money. So if you can open up your services to men and possibly adolescents, things of that nature, you could make so much more money. Okay, so much more money. We're gonna look at the structure of the nail. This is also what I want you to study, but before we leave, I am going to find a more detailed picture for you to look at. Make sure you have those links, because once this ends, I don't think you can go back into the chat unless I go back in on Zoom and able to pull it up. Okay. but we're going to prepare to we're just introducing this. We're going to look at the structure of the nail. I saw the pedicure demo the other night, and so we'll also start to look at the structure of the different things going on with the feet and with the hands. Remember, you're going to learn structures, then diseases and disorders. And so let's look at the structure of the nail. You have to be able to identify each part of the nail. All right. So when it talks about cuticle to first knuckle, okay, this is what we're talking about. Even though the nail starts here, it is soft in this area. The nail is soft in this area. Okay. Once it comes out, it's going to pass the cuticle. Once it comes out, it starts to harden. So that's where a hard nail, once it comes out past the cuticle, it starts to harden and it becomes our nail plate. Okay. So we have a soft, spongy cuticle here, a spongy nail here, and then once it passes the cuticle, it becomes hard, and that's what we call the nail plate. Okay. The nail bed is underneath. This is all the life of the nail. The nail bed is underneath the nail plate. The hyponychium, as I stated before, is the skin right under the free edge. The skin right under the free edge. Okay. Now, look here, it's keratinized nail tissue, okay, right behind the cuticle. So that's hardened tissue right behind the cuticle. The nail fold right behind that. The stratum corneum is the skin. That's the skin between the cuticle and the first knuckle, okay? And then the eponychium layer, this is stem cells, all right? That is going to be underneath. And then the matrix. Just like if we would have looked at hair root, that matrix is where this nail begins to form. This is where the initial forming comes. It also can pick up on heredity. And so things that, oh, you got nails just like your dad. Oh, it grows just like your mom. You know, this is where that DNA starts to get put in. And when many people have issues with nails getting jammed, fingers getting jammed, you're really messing up the matrix in this area. So the programming that tells us how our nails should grow, how it should be shaped, is right here. This is the programming, guys. Guys, this is the programming. So when we jam our fingers, most of the time it's right up in here. We are messing up that blueprint. Okay. And so now whatever's left as it heals, it tells, hey, this is produce this type of nail. And so that's something we have to always think about. Even though this has decimal plant, this is actually what we call a digit as well, or phalange. It is a bone of the finger. Okay. And so you're learning anatomy. There are multiple names for different things, but on the hand, the bones are called phalanges. On the feet, the bones are called digits. Phalanges versus digits. Okay. So that's a reference. We're going to find better pictures and things of that nature. When it talks about the nail folds, in breaking this down, I'm probably going to get Ms. Brittany to go over in demo the parts of the nail for Monday. The folds of normal skin that surround the nail plate. So we know the nail plate is what we see, what we press, what we attach the artificial nail to. So the skin around it, okay, is called the nail fold. This nail fold also is what we call, we come around the sides a little more, we call it the side wall, okay, the side wall. And so at this point, the wall has the grooves and things like that. And that's just overlapping skin of the nail. So side walls, side grooves, and on the side of the nail plate. And again, we will continue to review this nail And what I'm going to do is now go and find a more functioning picture. I'm gonna find a more functioning picture of the nail plate, nail structure. All right. Okay, so as we prepare to close, I wanted to have a more simplified picture for you. So this is nail structure. We have free edge. Of course, the smile line. We haven't even got to the lanula, the cuticle. This nail fold is right under the cuticle and it's on the sides. Lateral nail fold on the sides. That's the skin on the sides. And then proximal nail fold right under the cuticle. Okay. The whole entire nail is considered the nail plate. Let's look at another picture. From the side. The lanula, which we haven't even got there yet, that is the half moon that you'll see on the nail plate. The nail plate itself, the free edge is the part of the nail that extends off the plate. The lateral nail folds are on the side, and the proximal nail folds are behind the cuticle. Okay? They are behind the cuticle. Still looking at more nail structure. And this is a good one as well. I think this is one that we're going to go with. I'm going to copy image and put it in the chat. Okay, and that's going to be a good one that we go over. You got the free edge that extends off the nail plate. The hyponychium is the skin under the free edge. The nail groove is right that area when the nail comes off the free edge. The nail bed is underneath the nail plate. The nail matrix is where nails are regenerated, okay? The mantle, this is soft, spongy tissue here. So the nail forms here and then it grows upward, okay? It forms here and then it grows, it gets to the matrix. The matrix starts to allow it to become hardened. It starts to build a keratin process, and then it proceeds out past the cuticle, all right? Once it proceeds out past the cuticle, it is now a hardened nail plate, and it will continue to grow. Now, hair, skin, and nails are on a continuous form of hair growth or a nail growth. Continuous form is always growing, all right? At times that this nail is not growing. Something, it may be in a particular cycle where it's called a pause, okay? Maybe in a pause, okay? Hair goes through cycles where it pauses and then falls out. Well, with the nails, it just begins to pause and it begins to grow again because it has to continuously grow because new nail is being created at all times. And so what we need to also learn is how fast does this nail grow per month? And then here's what I want everybody to know. The younger, based on age, the younger the person is, that nail is going to grow so fast. But as a person gets older, your nails slow down. The growth and repair of the nails slow down. So it takes longer to get the growth you used to be able to get when you're 20, but now you're 50. takes twice as long. And then you're talking about repairing the skin around. That's why when they said when they're older, you do not want the skin punctured, cut, or anything like that. Okay. You don't want the skin done, and you don't want anything like that. Okay. Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to have beautiful, beautiful nails. You don't want the growth stunted by anything, and nails conditions, disorders, diseases all play a part in the readiness of that growth. You have injury to the nail that plays a part in the readiness of that growth as well. Okay. So Miss Andrea, I want to talk you, I talk you down. Okay. I put that in the group. I'm also going to just save this image. This is an image we're going to go by. All right. You have your homework assignment. We introed into this particular chapter. We are going to pick up on structures, and then we'll go right into nail disorders and diseases on Thursday. Okay. So continue to read your portal. Look for my email sometime tomorrow to give you an update on hours. And we are moving fast speed ahead. Okay. So in any chance that you have, jump into your portal and do some of you're doing your check-in questions and also just some of the quizzes. They're all there to just help you get familiar with the information. Okay. I will see you on Thursday. If you need anything, my phone was doing something crazy, send me an email, text, or phone, however you got to get to me, send a smoke signal, whatever. Call Miss Brittany, let her call me. But I have not been getting a lot of my calls or texts, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is. So I don't want to miss it. So if you got a question or anything for me, send an email or go through Miss Brittany, or even just pick the phone up. Maybe it'll go through. Okay. You have a blessed and amazing evening. If you need anything, like I said before, just do not hesitate to give me a call.